Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to Channel Your Light, Own Your Intuitive. For those of you who are new here, welcome in. My name is Erin Chandler. We're in this total lunar eclipse energy. We've got tons of transits. There is a lot going on for a lot of us personally and also on the collective world stage. Now, I'm going to share a lot of channels this week, and a lot of them I've been channeling through since January and February. And some of them are super intense and some of them are very gentle. And I realize that I'm actually sharing all of them during this total lunar eclipse week. It's a powerful energy. Yuga Kali has been all up in all of these different channels in some way, shape, or form. There are many, many endings happening. We are shifting from one state of being into another. There is no one that will not be touched by this energy in some way, shape, or form, whether it is through a gentleness or some of us are through extremes. Now, the reason I say this is these are cosmic shifts that we're all experiencing. So we all experience them differently, but we are all experiencing them. In this way, we're same but different, I guess you could say. Same but different. We're all experiencing this same change. However, it's going to be experienced differently. There is a oneness and togetherness about this that's sticking out for me, as we're all in this together. That's the song lyrics playing. We're all in this together, and yet we will experience it slightly differently. And this is actually significant because when I got up this morning, BHADRA Kali was with me. And she really came through in some of the private sessions today as well as an indicator for those of you that this shift doesn't have to be extreme. This total eclipse and all these tidal waves of emotions and all these thoughts going on in our heads and all this stuff. We're just going to bring some gentleness to it. When we're shifting a state of being, I just want to lean into her, just move with her essence. She's saying that change does not have to be difficult. We do not have to go fighting, kicking, and screaming. Some of you will know that in this throes of change, you can simply acknowledge and let it roll through you. Allow gentle kindness, strength, and resilience to permeate you. Understand the memories that you've been having, things that have come up from the past. This is part of one of the beautiful souls that came for a private session. She says that's what we are going to focus on now, because that allows us to attune to very specific soul pods and their journeys at this time, to be able to understand the relativity of their life experience and the next phase of the journey. It also allows them to close the door permanently, correctly, freely, with this moment of release. BHADRA Kali says that sometimes our childhoods prepare us for the careers that we have been playing out and the roles that we have done. There are those who will perceive that they're playing the role that they play now because or as a result of their childhood. However, we wish to provide a gentler experience. I'm seeing gentle as a deer. I'm seeing beautiful deer hopping through a forest. And yes, it's spring. So typically you will see that in the spring. I just saw 2 deer cross my path the other day. And it is that season, but it's that season for a reason. She says the deer are significant, the breeding season of the deer, the birthing season. And while it may not be exactly the season that I'm pinpointing right now, that's just what showed up for me. But she's saying this is a time in the spring where a new cycle truly begins. It's truly the cycle of a new year. It's truly a new season of life on a longer term scale, rather than just the quarterly seasons. This spring marks the beginning of an entirely new life cycle season that will span a decade or decades for most of us. So she says we want to be gentle and kind, because although you can perceive that the reason you are the way you are right now is because of the roles or the experiences or your relationships when you were a child, and that is a truth. She says there are many truths. Is it the truth? Not necessarily. It is a truth. There are those of you who are going to be given memories, perhaps flashes of memories, an understanding of an emotion that you have or a way of being that's associated with that simple flash. Underneath it all, that's a song playing. Underneath it all, you will discover that those are actually the things that are being released from you at this time. So again, she says, go back. To some of you, I feel like there's 3 different ways to perceive it. She says, just go gentle and to let it unfold. So I will let this unfold with her, and I will just take a deep breath in. I feel like somebody's on the edge of their seat. That's what it feels like, on the edge of their seat like this. She says, only be on the edge of the seat when you're rolling the roller coaster of joy. She says, but in this moment, in this change that everyone is so on the edge of their seat for, she says, you can relax, you can sit back. You may think that you have these memories and that you need to work on them, but that is not what came through in the session. There are those of you where you having the memory coming up into your consciousness and attuning the feeling associated with it that you have embodied in this way. The memories you are remembering are working on you. You are not working on them. They are working at you. This is the handiwork of Yuga Kali, who signals the ending of an era, the ending of a cycle for many millions, collectively, souls who have been eradicating and working through different states of beings. There are those of you who your childhood was actually preparing you for the career and soul contract that you had. So she says, if we are to look at, I'm an adult and I'm in this career and I behave the way I do because of my childhood and my experiences, the inner child that hasn't been healed. She says that is true for portions of the collective soul consciousness. I need a drink. Here we are. Okay. Back to this, because it does kind of feel like she says the energy is scattered to begin with. This is why we are bringing in a gentle hand. I don't know where we left off, so I just want to settle into it. But Bhadra Kali wishes to take over. She says, just as the experiences of children make adults, I feel like I already said this, but we're going to go back to it just to kind of move back into that thread and weave back in. They're saying pull a card to attune to it. So just like we do that, there are those of you who are going to discover that your childhood was actually preparing you for your career. And just to highlight this, one of the beautiful souls that I was with today, which is part of the reason why Bhadra Kali was there when I got up, but also as a greater message for a lot of people, is that in this shift and change and eclipsing one state of a way of being, it doesn't have to be this extreme. You can actually dawn a different perspective of, rather than the child being the adult inner child wounding, right? Somebody has an inner child wounding. There's many adults walking the earth plane who are just children who are wounded. And that is a truth as well. She says, but there are other truths to be had and to be seen or revealed, says Goya Kali. For example, this beautiful soul, her childhood, they spent moving around every 2 years to a different school. And she had just recently had a memory of this happening and how it had dialed up her anxiety, always having to meet new people, not needing to attach to people because they were always having to move because of her, one of her parents' jobs. And the interesting thing about it, Bhadra Kali says, is that prepared this woman for her caregiving role that she would play for a majority of her life in taking care of other people in end of life. She was going to have to be able to move with people from all different walks of life, all different beliefs, and as well go to different places and find her comfort and her home there. For she was the stable barometer as she went to these different places. And Bhadra Kali's message for her was, your childhood of moving around was not an indicator that your anxiety needed to be dialed up. It was actually preparing you to be able to fulfill your contracts with all the individuals that you worked with in your career. And now that you have retired, we're seeing clearly the anxiety. Now we're fully perceiving what the purpose of it was on another level. And now we close the door. We have fully severed that area of life and all the feelings or emotions associated with it. BHADRA says, when you have these memories, there is no need to go into the extremes of them. You can gently, softly remind yourself, thank you for the memory and thank you for releasing it. And thank you for showing me what emotion, what frequency was associated with it. And that I can release now too, in order to move into this beautiful liberation of your freedom. You must be willing to leave the past in the past. And that includes the residue or the lingering things. Many of you, the cosmic alignments are helping you to release these lingering things. You can fight it and you can struggle and you can go kicking and screaming and holding on to all the past that you want to. But my dear, why would you do that? Something much better awaits. BHADRA says, there can be a gentleness, gentle as the deer, a gentleness with being able to understand what's happening, that things are being released from you and they're relieving you as well. If you guys feel called to and you want some rituals or just some practices, please sign up for my subscriber list on my email. I do send out things like that every single week. This week is specifically attuned to practices of releasing with gentleness and how to identify it and effectively remove it during this process, so that it just brings some gentle kindness, some compassion, some ease to it, to know that you're being held in the divine, to know that this is a fresh new cycle. And if the energy is helping us cosmically, it's time to lean into it and allow it. Allow this energy to move you. The more we go into control and resistance and fear, the more difficult it is for you to transition. And it doesn't have to be that way. Though some of you who are feeling extremes, it's because there's extremes in your energy field or extremes that you're letting go of. And it's not an indicator that it's a bad thing. Like, not all shifts happen with gentle ease and flow. Some are abrupt, some are unexpected, some are extremes. Sometimes loss is like the last thing we want. And yet, no matter what we do, it's going to come. Eclipses are times of endings and beginnings. And there has been some really extreme energies within it and really deeply rooted, seated stuff that's being flipped over, and everyone experiences it differently. So of all the channels that I'm going to post pretty much all at once, go to the ones when you check out the channel, just scroll through the ones that attune to you. You'll know which ones attune to you based on how you feel. Trust how you feel. Trust what sticks out to you. If you can't logically place something, but you just feel drawn to one of them, please trust this. That is the way of moving with the divine. It's not having to logically understand, but being able to be moved with the flow, understanding that the universe, the divine, the cosmos, they're all shifting all of us right now. All we have to do is have a little faith. Yeah, friends, it's been a lot. Notice the synchronicities. Don't feel like you have to fight. Don't wonder why something else is coming back up. Effectively utilize it gently. Be gentle with yourself. Feel it and let it roll out of you. It's so much easier when we can just lean into that when we can. And sometimes we need to understand what's going on in order to fully lean into that, right? It's suddenly like, oh, that's what's happening. Okay, I can just have a moment to breathe. I'm not doing it wrong. And sometimes that's all we need, is just to have a validation from somebody that this is what's happening and you're not doing it wrong. But it's a lot right now, friends. So have compassion. Here's the card that I pulled. And this is so synchronistic. It's the Milk Moon Witch. It's about traveling ships. Let's see if I can get that in focus for you. There you go. This is from the Imbolc deck of the Seasons of the Witch. Do you see the guardians of the galaxy, the guardians of divinity, all holding the waters, streaming the divine light through them, surging the energy, shifting it? Just as intuitively reading this, I'm really trying to get this in focus, but it's not really working. There we go. Notice that they are ships at sea. Each and every one of you are your own ship. and you are at sea. And right now, the cosmos, the universe, this lunar eclipse, that is a brilliant bright moon there, isn't it? It is literally immersing itself in the ocean, in the waters of our beings to move our ships. Let the energy move you. No, see all the moths? Moths have a very spiritual energy, very change energy. It's deep mysticism. Look at all the candles in the sky, in the energy of the Divine Mother. Notice that there are 6 there, coming back into personal power. What does it say on this card? It's card number 31, if that's a number for somebody. It says, watch as the tides turn in your favor, weaving the waters within and conjuring unspoken desires. This is so true. If you have these beautiful desires that have had a lid on them or kept quiet in the ocean of you, right? You're the ship on the ocean. If you can't identify a desire, we're going into somebody else's message here, and BHADRA Kali's nodding her head at me that transmission is complete for the person that needed to hear that. An unspoken desire is somebody realizing what you truly desire. Not what you think you should desire based on limits or potentials, but what you truly actually desire with no perception of a possibility of a can, could, should, would, wish, none of that. It's straight up an unspoken desire. Whatever your truest desire is, if you can name it, you will be moved by the divine, your ship, and align you with it. Knowing this, can you release with gentleness all that was? It's like one of the other challenges. It says, can you accept the challenge to release all the shame, guilt, fear, limitations? Will you accept the challenge to do that? Because if you are, my God, the entire universe will move oceans on your behalf to align with it. It's also illuminating it, electrifying the the depths of the emotional aspects of some individuals during this moon. If you're having extremes, we're illuminating the depths of you and the emotions that have been taking up too much space or in the way. Allow this energy to move you. Let it move you. It can be gentle. We don't have to rock the boat. We don't always have to be a warrior. We don't have to fight. That's a message for somebody who's in conflict with yourself. I want this, but what about this? I want this, but oh, there's this. I want this, but what about that? I want this, but it's like an internal conflict you're experiencing. Just choose what you damn well want and let the divine move your ocean. I don't know why that's not coming in clear. I apologize, friends. What a stunning and perfect card for this message, because that whole concept of the divine coming in cosmically and shifting it for us, that really is what's happening. And it's the milk moon witch. And I'm being reminded of the story of Blue Tara being the divine mother's medicine, the milk, and the story of how, I can't remember which Hindu god it is. I can't remember which one it is, but the story is this God, I guess you could say. I don't think that's a label for him or that's correct, but the story is more important than the names is what I feel like right now. The story is he went to the earth plane and was taking in the traumas of others and dealing with all the poisons on the earth plane, trying to help everybody. But he took so much in that the poison made him so sick that he couldn't function. He couldn't do anything. So what did he do? He turned himself back into a tender, innocent, pure baby and went to suckle on the teats, the breasts of the divine mother, receiving the medicine, the milk. And as it received the pure milk from the mother's breasts, it dissolved all the poison, and he was filled with that divine, pure, nurturing essence once again. So it's kind of like, back to the deer, says BHADRA Kali, these are all, everything is interconnected. We are weaving. She says, for those of you who have been wounded and hurt through your journey thus far, The cosmic energy is literally aligning you and asking you to return yourself to this beautiful babe and suckle from the divine medicine of the divine mother and the divine father. Allow yourself to return to the innocence of the babe again. This will allow you to continue on this new phase of a journey, a full rebirth, going from one whole mission into a whole new purpose, a whole new world into a whole new world, as a way of describing it. And this is why I love stories. Stories hold so much wisdom and so many teachings when we are able to perceive all the different layers and nuances. So in effect, says BHADRA, and answer this changing of the guard, this changing of the cycles of complete eras of you. Perceive this as a complete soul rebirth, returning to the joy and the wonder of the child, receiving the divine milk that dissolves all poison. The divine is the medicine and allows for a pure rebirth where you get to experiencing the rejuvenating aspects of life again, to look towards the future with absolute joy, to ask for those unspoken desires and not carry the burdens, the weights, the limitations, the hurts and the wounds and the poisons of them into this new cycle. We are effectively being helped by the divine right now. Will you receive that help? BHADRA says, lean into the gentleness. Allow yourself to be gently held, to weep the tears of the poison of the wounds, to allow the medicine to roll through you, to acknowledge this fresh start, allowing the endings in order to fully be rebirthed, to fully receive the medicine of the divine so that you may move ahead into the future unfettered, unbound, untamed, and back to the origin of the core commands of your very being. These are huge changes, my friends, and some of them we can't make sense of. And this message is so that to let you know that you don't always have to make logical sense of what's happening right now. There are things where the heart is outsmarting the logic. The cosmic energies are shifting us in ways that we can't really logically fathom. And it's multiple parts of us, multiple lives, multiple fragments of the soul that's going through this healing all together. Go back to this story. I get RAMA, but I feel like that's RAMA and SITA. That might be another story. But anyways, maybe RAMA is significant for you, or a deity that you attune to, or a god, or a story, or something to that effect. Maybe that's part of your name. I don't know. Take it how it resonates. That's very specific affirmation, validation, and confirmation for someone on here. But they're saying go back to the beginning. That is the rebirth, right? Are you willing to be in the body right now and die a complete death of your internal self, to be rebirthed without having to leave the body? I've known for quite a number of years, almost a decade now, that that's actually what the Great Awakening is. Yes, it's awakening, but what are we actually doing? We're going through a death that we would normally live our lives out, get to the end of our life, release our body, go back into spirit and be like, oh yeah, that's my lessons. Oh, I should have done that. I could have done that. We could have done this. This was my experience. Did I fulfill my experience? Could I have done something different? Do I need to come back to redo it? We're having that death without physically leaving the body. That's huge. That is part of the Great Awakening, and not all souls are doing that. You'll know if this message is yours. It's going to make complete sense to you what this rebirth is. You are dying a complete death of who you were, and you are being rebirthed into your truer core form without having to leave the body and be reincarnated. This is significant. That may not logically make sense to some people, but that's my truth. That's what I know is true. I am watching people go through it over and over and over. I'm watching people just stepping into it. I'm helping guide people through it. This is part of the process, to be completely liberated from all the wounds and the poisons of your experience without needing to die and leave the body and come back again. That's a feat unto itself. So whoever you are not alone in this. You are doing it perfectly. Let's go. Release, rebirth. Be reborn, be freed, be liberated, suckle from the breasts of the Divine Mother, and allow the medicine to roll through you so that you can be in that state or that process. This is just one facet of the Great Awakening, the ascension and the descension, and just another perspective to be prepared for some of you, because not everybody is willing to do that. Not everybody, that's not part of their soul plan. Some people are not here to go through this process, but if you are, you will know it. There will be things where you're touching on multiple dimensions, you're touching on multiple lives. You feel like you've lived 5 lifetimes in just the first part of your life. Those are all indicators you're part of this rebirthing process, teaching in the new earth, being in that energy. You're here to move from the old earth of you into the new earth of you in one incarnation in the body. That is not a simple or easy task. Just so that we're very clear, most people don't do that. But for those of you who are doing it, you are doing it correctly. Let it unfold. The cosmic alignment is helping you to do this, but you do need to relinquish control and allow it to unfold, allow it to unravel. Have a little faith in me. Somebody in their throat chakra I'm feeling right now. It's interesting, almost at every channel, this other energy comes in. And I'm wondering if it's just the tip of the iceberg is what I'm hearing. This message, says Yuga Kali, is just the tip of the iceberg of what we are doing, how we will move, what is unfolding. In addition, those who have shooting daggers from their throats, their words laced with poison. That's what it is. Somebody's words laced with poison. Whoa, what does this mean? I want to kind of go here. I know we're almost half an hour in here. It's 28:28 on my clock right now for timing in this message. So that might be a significant number for you. 28:28. Ooh, doubling up. Double retrograde, she says, Venus and Mercury, having to do with the throat chakra. I also have a lot of saliva in my mouth right now, and that's not my typical norm, and I feel like this is attuning to somebody else's energy, so take it as it resonates. That is not for everybody. I'm not sure why that's coming in. I don't know how to explain that. I'm just told to highlight it for somebody on here. Whoever it is that has daggers with poison on their words, upon their tongue, they're salivating at something or foaming at the mouth. You know, when animals get rabies, that's what it is, and they start to foam at the mouth, they start to not think well. It's that kind of an energy, like a salivating animal instinct, very root, very old energy of survival instinct. That's being put to the side. We don't necessarily need that in this new earth energy. So whoever's holding on to that energy, I don't know, maybe somebody on here, this is a confirmation of an energy you're dealing with, and it's okay for you to let go. It's okay for you to let go of whoever that is. You're not leaving them behind, but you'd be doing yourself a disservice and them a disservice to maintain those relationships. You need to move forward into your freedom and your liberation and not worry about those energies. And this is, oh, got it. BHADRA Kelly says, this is a gentle confirmation for the individual that this message is meant for, that all poison that you have taken in was never your own. The poison from others, from their wounds, created wounds in you. And it's time to eradicate the poison and to simply say no. There is wisdom in simply saying no. There is love in simply saying no. Releasing and letting go of others allows you to come into your full power. And what that also does, more importantly, is it gives others permission, and they can see how they can begin to release it and step into their full power too. In this way, we really don't actually leave anybody behind. We are all one in spirit, regardless of what planetary system you align with, regardless of what teachings you follow, whether you're following a religion, spirituality, atheism. We're all coming from the same place, peeps. We're all made from the same stuff, right down at the very core seat of it. We're just different facets of the seed. So all of these wounds are being collectively healed, and all of the poison that's being outlaid right now is almost like I'm hearing outbursts. There's outbursts of poison coming out of people's mouths. This is what's been underneath it all the whole time. And when those are coming out, it's important to say no to the poisons of others so that you don't unconsciously create more wounding by creating a contract of accepting it. That doesn't mean you need to change the person. You simply need to choose for you. Have, BHADRA says, gentle kindness, strength, resilience, and courage. And the ability to say no is one of the most loving things that you can do at this time. Finding the peace and the balance. I feel like we just streamed into a couple of other different things, and maybe this is something you're dealing with. Or maybe you're viewing things from the collective world stage and you feel like it's having an impact on you. Okay, they're nodding their head at me. Somebody's having an impact from the collective world stage. And there is ways to deal with it, but it's up to you to take control of it and recognize your power of choice in that process. Is kind of how it's coming through, I guess you could say. Anyways, we're going to close this here. The Milk Moon Witch. Watch as the tides turn in your favor, weaving the waters within and conjuring your true unspoken desire underneath it all. It is time to go after those things. Allow the waters to move you. Allow the energy to transform you. Allow the ocean to clear and purify you. A new beginning has begun. We are all being prepared for it. Thank you to BHADRA Kali and YUGA Kali for sharing their pieces of wisdom and guidance on this channel. And I'm just hearing there is so much more to come. And I love that. I love these energies. The reason why I like it is it covers all the different aspects. It's not just all light frequencies. It's not just all dark doom and gloom. It is said that those who truly can harness and wield energy and power, it's because they can move through the dark and the light, neither ignoring either, but neither giving one precedence over the other. We can't harness energy fully and completely if we are not able to see and perceive accurately all the energy at play. You can only move half energy if you're only willing to acknowledge or perceive half of your own energy. So this is why coming into just a little teaching piece here, this is why coming into the full embodiment of the self and why shadow work is so powerful. Someone who has done shadow work and can honor the shadow in them and also honor the light in them begin to wield and magnetize energy on another level because they're coming from all of them. And we all have shadow, right? It's all in the unconscious, but it's being willing to look at all of you that puts you in your superpower. It's willing to affirm and accept all of you, make changes where you want to make changes, see things for what they are, that puts you in a position of great self-empowerment. That's when you're able to truly direct the energy. I'm getting the word yogini with that. Truly harness and direct energy is because you are willing to look at all the energy of you. It's incredibly important to look at that and to understand that facet for somebody on here. And they're saying that's just a little last piece message for somebody who's been doing a lot of shadow work. You're going to be coming into a profound harnessing of your own energy. You're not going to be there much longer. It's not going to go on forever. And they make me feel like you're kind of tired. Let the cosmic shifts move some energy for you. You don't need to work on this. It's working on you. You're not working on it. The energy's working on you. Have a little faith in me. And they're just showing me holding. Somebody struggling with the throat chakra. Holding. Allow the divine to hold you through this process of endings and beginnings. Trust, put your faith in that. And you will discover miracles, miracles, miracles. That's what they're saying. You will discover miracles when you open to them and allow yourself to actually receive them. So beautiful, friends. Let me know if this message resonated for you in the comments. Let me know if pieces and parts of it are part of your journey. And again, I'm wishing you a happy new beginning, a happy releasing of endings that don't serve you anymore. And let's get it started. I'm hearing, let's get this party started. Let's get it started in here. I can't remember that song. That's old school for me, but it's a good tune. It's a really good tune. I'm going to have to look it up now because it's so good. So I will leave that with you. If you wish to connect with me, have a private session of your own with your guides, higher dimensional beings, going through the life plan, moving into the future, needing help removing those cycles, connecting with loved ones, please feel free to book a private session with me. The link for that is in the video description box below. I will see you on the next video.